Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. Today is going to be a video of a review of the Clone Trooper Deluxe Veteran 1. So this is the one made by Sideshow. You might know it under the number 100-206. So that's 100206 if you want to go and look it up. The suggested retail price of this figure was $139.99 and it went up for pre-order on July 22nd of 2013, and the expected shipping date was the fourth quarter of 2013. Well, depending, I can't remember exactly when I got them. I would have to look it up on an old computer who is a bit finicky, doesn't want to really work, so going to give it a bit of a spin around. As you know, I'm an army builder, so as you can see, there's two of them. One box is open, the other one is closed. So yeah, pretty decent figure from Sideshow, and of course these are the more newer versions of the Sideshow figures, so they don't have much text inside compared to what was done with the previous ones that they had. When they had the Order of the Jedi, the Scum and Villainy had a bit more text. The moment it got taken over, well, there's not much text in it about it, but afterwards it's also pretty hard to put any kind of descriptive about a veteran clone trooper because he's a bit the basic. So of course you can see that there's some wear and tear on the box, well, on the figure itself, and you can see that you have both versions of it with the phase 1 and phase 2 helmet. So yeah, it is a pretty complete set. So we're going to let it finish coming spinning around, and afterwards we're going to be having a look at it. I'm going to do some unboxing, going to tell you what I think about it, do I think it's a collectible item, and how good it is out of 10. So without further ado, let's start the unboxing of this figure. So without any further delay, let's go into unboxing the figure. So I already removed it from his box, so we're going to be removing him from this. You can see, pretty basic, nothing of much interesting to see in the box. So of course over here we do have to pull out, they really packaged it really tight up, so you have different layers of boxing that you have to remove. Let's remove this, don't need this for now. Of course we have the clone trooper himself, then afterwards we have the rest of what comes in. So of course you have the clone trooper, the stand, the Gatling gun, the rifle, you have the different hands, you have two different kind of feet depending how you want to pose it. You have the blasters, you have the thermal detonators, phase 2, phase 1, and the backpack. So yeah, let's have a closer look at all of this. Okay, so let's have a closer look at the shiny. So of course, as you can see, he is shiny new, he is brand new, came out of Camino, and as you can see, he is pretty decent. I'm just going to put him here to start removing the other accessories. Of course, the stand, I'm not going to go into too much details. This is the same stand as for everybody. So let's remove the hands over here. And let's put them over here. Of course, we have the blaster, the helmet, phase 2. Let's pop out these little grenades over here. I really think that Sideshow doesn't want you to have these guys come out, so that we can have a good look at it. Let's get rid of this because we won't be needing this. Okay, let's continue over here. So as you can see, there's plenty of cool stuff. Now of course, now that I know that there's a scotch tape, I'm going to be using a small cutter so that it can be easily removed, so that we can open it. So here we go, the Gatling gun, the blaster rifle. Then let's remove, oh, come back here you. Let's continue removing all of this over here, and afterwards I'll be able to show you all of this in a closer detail. So now that we've got everything out of the box, as you can see, there is a lot of stuff. So let's have a closer look at our shiny trooper over here. As you can see, he is really came out of the fabric line. His armor has no scratch. he is really pretty decent looking if we have a look at it. I like the idea of having some very clean clone troopers like this. Could make sense that there could be reinforcement, they could be used, but also if you want to recreate the scene from the end of episode 2, you'll be able to do it. But I mean, everything fits nicely. As you can see, he does have some pretty stiff articulation for Sideshow figures, because this is also something that a lot of people will be complaining about. But as you can see, they did a pretty decent job on him. So yeah, a pretty decent figure over here. So we're going to be looking at the extra feet over here. As you can see, also very shiny, no wear and tear on it for now. So yeah, this is pretty interesting as having. Same goes for the different hands that we have over here, with all the different signs that you can be given. So yeah, this is something that I really find extremely interesting with these clone troopers, because you really get a whole bunch of different hands and gripping. And like I said for many of the other videos, I like the fact that you have the pegs in here. This is something that Hot Toys should really start thinking about, that it would be easier to remove the pegs. And as you can see, the arms are not much thicker, and you have to remember, this is Hot Toys who made these figures also. So let's have a look at the Phase 2 helmet. Whoops, come back here. Okay, so as you can see, Phase 2 helmet looks pretty decent also, not a scratch, even if this one did a little one away. So yeah, really loving what they did with these clone troopers. Over here, let's have a look at the grenades. Maybe you can, you can just see when they move around, you can see there's a little bit of blue on them over there. Yeah, you can see the little shininess over there. There's some blue on it. So yeah, this is a nice little detail. Of course, we have the backpack over here that goes on to the figure over here. So I'll be putting it on because, of course, like this is shiny and you are new to the recruitment, so you need to understand how everything works, and I need to explain it to you. So here is the Gatling gun, always looking pretty decent. Coming on to the blaster. Now the blaster does have some wear and tear. I would have hoped that they would have maybe not weathered it, but I guess that for cost effectiveness, it was more interesting to have all the weapons painted and having some scratch and having all this kind of marking on it. But it would make sense that the blasters would be fully equipped with nothing, no marks, because they came out brand new of the factory. The same thing over here. So this looks like they picked up some weapons. Of course, we have the grappling hook over here. So yeah, this is pretty decent, and as you can see, you do get a lot of stuff. So, like I said, you are shiny, you are new to the Army of the Republic, so now it is time to gear up this trooper over here. So, of course, we're going to just pop off his head over here. I'm not going to be doing it for the other ones, because if you are a veteran and you are part of the 501st or the 212, you should know all of this. This is only for the newcomers who don't not know anything, like this guy over here. So we're going to be gearing him up. We're going to give him the backpack. Whoops, wrong way round. So let's stretch out the arm over here. Put this over here. As you can see, this does fit pretty neat. And true to the fact that you have the magnet in the back over there, you should pop this over and this stays pretty well in place. Let's pop this over like this. Oops, sorry, I'm not going to hold it up. And then we're just going to clip this back in over here. Not the easiest, but it should work. So here we are. You are all geared up and ready to go on a mission. Of course, as you can see, the backpack really lands perfectly, and the fact of having all these little hooks over here, you should open it and you can store his grenades. Over here you can store also maybe the hook cable for his rifle, because you won't be needing it. So yeah, just close it. And as you can see, this is pretty decent. Afterwards, we're going to be removing the hand, so we're going to give him the grip over here. So what I would strongly suggest is you always start by putting the rifle hand and all the weaponry directly onto the figure. Then you should grab the figure over here, pull, and this should pop out pretty easily, up, as you can see. Then you should pop this one in over here. Oops. So you should have to be careful. Ah, yes, that may help to push back the armor here, because this is always the tricky part. You have the impression that you're going to be pushing forward, and you have to clip it in and really be sure that you're pushing this one back. Now let's remove this hand over here, and let's give him the hand for holding this rifle. So which one is it? Okay, no, that's the wrong side. Okay, now that's weird. I was sure that there was two hands for this holding over there, so that's a bit weird. Ah yes, here it is. My bad. Okay, so there we are. As you can see, it's pretty easy to put in place. And as you can see, the fact of having everything in, and as you can see, it holds pretty decently for a clone trooper from our friends at Sideshow. Yeah, as you can see, he's all ready to join the battle with his Phase 2 helmet. So now that we had a look on how we remove the pegs, how we do all of this on this figure, we're going to be having a closer look at it, and I'm going to be telling you if I think this is a collectible item, and also do I believe this is, of course, going to be talking about the collectible value of it, and of course we're going to be also talking about do I like this figure, what is the note out of 10 that I will be giving for this figure. So without further ado, let me put this all up and let's give this a spin so you can admire my clone trooper under all different angles. So while we give this little spin, so I have the two that I have over here that I've opened up, so then you can have and admire them with the different phase helmets on, and I'm going to give it a little spin. So, do I believe that this is a collectible item? The answer is yes. The reason that this is a collectible item, it is because the fact that Sideshow, contrary to Hot Toys right to now, hasn't abused the 2.0 system or the relaunch or repaint or whatever they want to call the system. So as they have made one, they're not making any more of these. So of course you're going to say, well, John, Hot Toys is currently making them. Well, yeah, they're kind of making some clones, but they haven't done that many. And you have to remember the one that they did with this kind of armor is currently sold out. But something that's very interesting that you also have to remember on the reasoning, because this is a collectible item, it is the fact that they are being made a long time ago and that they still stand up pretty good. And due to the fact that they had a partnership with Hot Toys to help them do these figures, this is something that makes them even more interesting. The other part that I think is also very interesting to take into consideration, we're talking about $139.99. Of course, this does not include shipping or taxes. But if you know also, the Hot Toy figures kind of come with maybe a bit dissimilar gear, less hands. There's some extra stuff going around that they have that the one Sideshow didn't have. But again, overall, you're going to be paying $220, $230, or even a bit higher due to the tariffs. So this would put it as not so interesting as you really think about it. These are nearly half the price, and they do look pretty decent. I will be doing a comparison and showing you the Hot Toys versus the Sideshow one, and you're going to see that you can see a little bit difference, but there is not that much to go around about, and it would be very nitpicky if you want to do it. And I'm sure if you take a large picture with if you do some army building, you're not going to see much difference. So yes, these figures are definitely have a collectible value. So if you do have some left somewhere, it would be a good idea. If you do not want to keep them, you can sell them and you can make some money on them, because these are really looked after figures. And due to the fact that you have some other figures like Fisto and other Jedis and having the different phases. This makes it interesting, and maybe you might be not paying $220, $230. You might be paying a bit under, so you're still getting a pretty good product. So this is what I'm saying. These are collectible items. If you can find some at a good price, I strongly suggest that you go for it. Now that we have cleared out the collectible value of this, and does it have it, let's talk about what are my final thoughts about these figures? Do I like them? And what would be my note out of 10? So the Shiny Trooper is an interesting idea. Like I said during the video, I do like the fact of getting the possibility to get some cleaned up armor. They can be on Coruscant, they could be on any other place. They don't need to be on the battlefield, or they could be coming in as reinforcement if you're doing a diorama or you want to do some pictures like I do. These guys could be freshly debarked to bring in with Rebel transport. So yeah, there's possibilities to do certain ideas of building up around these characters, so I really do like them. And again, when you get so much gear, so much stuff with a figure, this really incites you to do some army building. Even if you don't do army building, if you can get two, you can pose them next to each other. This is something who is really decent. As you can see, the two that I have unboxed over here don't have any issue. As you can see, the rifle has been spinning for a little bit, and the rifle haven't moved, the arms haven't moved, they didn't lose anything. So yeah, these figures are pretty decent, so nothing much I can say about it. Now, the only negative point that I'm going to be pointing out on the shiny figures is the fact that the weapons are not brand new and have some weathering on them. This is something that does not make sense. If these guys are freshly coming from Camino or from any other part of the Republic to join, and they have squeaky shiny armor like that, that means that they must have blasters that are also squeaky clean, and this is a bit of a downfall on these figures. I think Sideshow should have gone for basic paint on it, have them not weathered or not having some wear and tear on it. It makes a lot more sense. The fact of having that not weathered does not make sense. If you can see on the backpack, there's no weathering. So why did they do the weapons? So that's why I'm going to be giving this figure a 9 out of 10. This would be a 10 out of 10 if the weapons would not be weathered, but I do believe that Sideshow dropped a bit the ball on this one and shouldn't have gone with some weathering on these weapons. So that's going to be it for my review on the Clone Troopers, the deluxe version, the shiny one. If you like this kind of video, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any suggestions, or you disagree, or you agree with me, let me know in the comment section, and let's start a conversation around these figures so that we can talk about our passion and share it together. Also, if you want to go and check out the pictures, you can go to my Facebook page or Instagram page. The links are in the description. Don't forget to subscribe, that helps out a lot the channel, and share the video, that does also help a lot the channel. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!